Girly Strings. Today I'm coming with you to share the answer to one of the most asked questions that I get. What's the difference between A or A? In this case, violin and a fiddle, violin and viola, viola and cello, violin and cello. Well, we're going to talk about that today. All right. This instrument right here is a violin. It is also a fiddle. Okay, so really there's not much difference between a violin and a fiddle. The main difference is the style of music that you play. Fiddles, you would tend to play things like gypsy, messianic, Irish, country, bluegrass, depending on the different type of style of fiddles. While violins, you're going to be playing a little bit more classical, even including the gypsy fiddle type music, because that tends to be a little bit more classical. But honestly, there's not really that much difference. Some fiddlers, though, do take a little bit of difference by shaving down the bridge, like this one right here is shaved down, and creating it to make it where it's easier to play something called double stops. So that's really the main difference. So right here we have the violin and a fiddle. Now the next one is the viola. The viola is just a little bit bigger. As you can see, this one's actually bigger than this one. This is, when you measure it out the body, you would find out it's probably about 14 inches. This right here is about 15.5 inches, and a viola can actually go up to about 17 or 18 inches. I think some people have even have them specially made to be about 19 inches, but generally you don't get above much more than 16 or 17 inches for a viola. After that, it's going to be more special ordered. But yes, they get a little bit bigger than each other. Not only is the size what makes them bigger, the sound, the viola, because it is bigger, it's going to be louder. Also, the strings, and this is where the major difference is between the violin and the viola. Okay, all violins, actually all string instruments, contain the A string, the D string, and the G string. The viola, however, contains, the viola contains a C string, which makes it a lot lower, and the violin contains an E string, and because it has that E string, you can go pretty high. Yeah, I can't pluck that particular string because it's extraordinarily high, but I'll pluck it down here, and you can hear how high that is. Violas can't get that high because they do not have the strength. They can get high, they just do not get as high as a violin. So the main difference is the strings as well as the size of the viola and the violin. Then this is where a lot of people ask me, is the viola that big of an instrument? No, the viola is not the big instrument. The big instrument is the cello. This big bad boy. It's even bigger than most guitars. In fact, I think it's actually bigger than all guitars. We may have to do a picture on that and just compare it later. All right, so the viola and the cello, obviously it's the size, so the cello has a huge size. The other thing is the cello is actually just an octave lower than the viola. Both of them have the A, the D, the C, G, and the C. So they are actually relatively the same. So pretty much you can play majority of the music that you can play on the cello, you can play on viola and vice versa. It's just the different clefs that you read. So yeah, that's basically it. And then you have a bass, which I don't have a huge bass at all, so I can't show you that. I'll put a picture in. But the bass compared to a cello, it's one where you actually have to stand up. Cellos you sit, but the basses you actually have to stand up, and in fact most basses would actually be taller than me, and I'm about a little, not quite 5'10", just a little over 5'9", but not quite 5'10". So that could tell you basses are really big instruments. And their strings are similar to the violins, only reverse. Their lowest note is an E, and their highest note ends up on the G string. I would actually have to get a bass to actually show you the sound of how high it is. But yeah, that's basically some of the differences between the instruments. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, feel free to leave them down below. As always, like, subscribe, and share this video. Also follow me on Pinterest at The Flip Class Online, and on Twitter at The Flip Class Online, and then on Facebook you can also find me on Virtually Strings. All right, have a great day.